Vlog number 28, November 12th, 1708, day 2. So, it's been a long time coming, and I've been working on this for a while now, on and off. But yeah, I have a Rumble channel now, and you can find the link in the description. It's basically a backup channel in case YouTube decides to pull this channel for whatever reason. And if I had to guess, it's probably going to be because of some video I'll do in the future that YouTube doesn't like. So, heads up on that. Today, I don't really want to talk about an important topic. This is going to be more of a personal video. And it's going to have to do with my divination system that I'm working on. And it's mainly to get the thoughts out of my head, because recently the creator threw me a curveball right when I was planning to get this stuff out the door and had the website going. And then all of a sudden I have this idea that I've been having a hard time with. So just a bit of backstory. So this divination system basically has the ability to calculate the mind, body, spirit complex in 3 components. There's a chart for each component, and each chart has 2 layers to it, the masculine and the feminine layer. And yes, this divination system can calculate the masculine and feminine energies and any possible distortions within them. And I don't really know of any other divination system that can do this except possibly astrology. So it's pretty unique. And I came into a conundrum, because for a while I'm thinking to myself, okay, so one layer is basically the masculine, which is from heaven to earth, the mystery looking within. And the other layer is the feminine, which is earth to heaven, which is the mystery looking without. And I had set up this whole structure where I had a huge, what I call the inclination table. I can show, which values are distorted, which ones are normal. And there's also aspects to it like you would find in astrology. But it's its own different, basically its own different rodeo. But then I read something in the Pistis Sophia, which is a Gnostic text. And it details in book 2 how the point where Pistis Sophia is basically redeemed at the time when her light had been stolen. The first mystery then came down and got rid of the evil powers that had taken her light, and then basically judged them for what they did to her, while she regained her light. And basically the enemies that were essentially trying to take her light from her because out of jealousy and wanting power for themselves were basically just fell away. That passage, basically, it's interesting because the first mystery that comes down for judgment, if you count down the tree 5 times, right, you get to Geburah, right? And that is where the judgment is done, and that is where the power is removed. But if you count the tree up 5 times, this comes to Tiferet, and this is where she is able to shine her light again and show off her real beauty. So this told me that judgment is different for men and women. It's different. And this whole thing just opened up a huge, like, Pandora's box that I have not been able to close, because I'm realizing now, holy crap, I got a lot of work to do now, because number 6 going up is not the same as number 6 going down. And it's just like made things difficult because originally I had, certain aspects where I had same numbers. I'm like, oh, okay, it's 2/8 here. So that's some glory problems. But now, if I've got 2/8 like that, it's one's going in one direction and one's going the other direction. So it's like, how do you figure that out? Well, I got the idea today about the 5 elements. And the backstory to this is I was reading up on some Tibetan bond material and how they speak of the 5 elements in their order. It's space, air, fire, water, and earth. And I realized if you fold the tree in half, you get basically 5 Sephiroth. And it's like lower and upper counterparts. And each of these pairings, these 5 pairings, can correspond to one of the 5 elements. And looking at them, like, okay, well, maybe the doubles correspond to like one of the elements. So if somebody's got like double 8s or whatever, and one of them, one the masculine, one the feminine. The masculine would be, of course, Had going down, and then 8 on the feminine would be Binah going up. So that's a full fire. That's a full fire elemental. So, yeah, what I'm saying is basically the tree and the major aspects are being reworked like crazy. I had to redo a lot of the definitions. I already set aside a section in the book that I hope to release on this system, which is going to detail these pairings. And it is kind of exciting, but it's really mind-bending. Because it's like, okay, so there's a difference between a masculine 9 and a feminine 9. Yeah, the masculine 9 is going to be Yesod, and the feminine 9 is going to be Hakma. And they're going to be 2 different flavors. So yeah, there's quite a bit to it. I haven't even gotten into the parts where, the perspective changes, where, it could depend whether these numbers are found in the mind chart, the body chart, or the spirit chart. Then of course the perspective is then skewed. So you can get an idea as to how intricate this system is. It's pretty intricate. Like it's kind of hard to just explain when I really don't want to talk too much about it. But you can get the idea that I work with the tree of Sephiroth. Yes, that's part of it. But I use a lot of other sources. And the tree that I use is not the same tree that the Jews use. No. I actually wrote my own tree out. I designed it, and I think it's a lot more accurate, and it's more accessible to the peoples of the world at large, since I know some people have very strong opinions on their material. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll just make my own tree, and it works better with my system anyway. And I have not revealed that tree yet, but for the moment, I still use the same names that the old tree of Sephiroth used. So it's just to clear that up, just to make it a little bit easier for myself for the moment. But yeah, I use my own tree. It's got elements of the Meadowneeder in there, which is the Egyptian tree of life. And I've gotten some inspiration from Yggdrasil also. The Norse tree of life, there's a bit of Tibetan elements in there, as you can see. I can work with their 5 elements as part of their bond religion. So yeah, it's just like a spattering of a whole bunch of different stuff, because it became clear to me that this was at some point, as far as the tree of life goes, it was at some point a global knowledge that was given, but then it became hidden away, and over the years different groups branched out in different directions, and those that survived are the ones that the public can see today, at least. Though I'm sure there's many more in private that they don't see. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I should unite as many as I can find and put them into a more modern system that's more accustomed to our current way of thinking, and the current evolution of humanity and this planet. So I built a new tree, yeah, it's obviously still growing, as you can see, because now it works in both directions, because the Jews have the what they call the lightning flash, which is the direction of manifestation from the top of the tree down back to earth, and what they call their order of manifestation according to most Kabbalah sects. Yeah, mine's a bit more advanced. It basically works in both directions, because back in the early medieval days, they saw a flash of lightning and they thought that that's all it was. But we know today that there are two kinds of lightning. There's negative lightning, which comes from the sky, and there's positive lightning that comes from the ground. So there's negative flash that comes from the top, and there's a positive flash that comes up from the bottom to the top. So it's basically happening at the same time. It's like breathing, basically. That's why there's two layers to the chart. It's like breathing. So, yeah, just give a bit of more of a preview to the system. I'm a little bit nervous about it because I've had my work stolen before, and it was not pretty. After trying to teach somebody how I had a previous iteration of a divination system. That's not the same one I'm working on now, but I was teaching an individual from New Zealand. He ended up just taking off with it. Very unfortunate. So, yeah, I'd rather get my stuff copyrighted and the book done before I speak too much about it. But, yeah, you can see there's a lot of it inspired from the old Jewish tree of Sephiroth, but I don't use their tree. I use my own. Okay, well, I wanted to just talk about the difficulties of trying to find the correct perspective to take in regards to delineating the now masculine and feminine numbers, which are dictated depending on where in the chart it is being calculated, in the direction, whether it's from heaven to earth or earth to heaven. Because originally I had like just static definitions for the numbers. But now it's like, okay, it's going to depend on where it is. And I got to think it through. It's like, how is this going to work masculine? How's this work feminine? And I got to explain how it all works within the self on top of all that. And in how it manifests in reality, and so on and so on. So it's a pretty big, sublime project that I gotta do now. So yeah, that's the current state of things. I've got a lot of work to do on my hands. So I tried to describe this reality, and I hope it comes out for the best, because I think this will help people out. I just hope it won't confuse too many people, because it is quite confusing at certain points if it's not explained right. So, like I said, it's very intricate. It's kind of like astrology at this point, which is also another very intricate divinatory tool. So, okay, I think I've yabbered enough. So, all right, I'll go then. So, thanks for watching. Have a good day.